Hello and welcome to the WriteCome.com podcast, where we help you to make money from your words. Each episode will be sharing tips, tricks, and strategies you can use to make more money from your writing, publishing, and marketing to your fans and audience. Let's get started with your host, Barry J. McDonald.
Hi, this is Barry here, and you are very welcome to today's podcast episode from WriteCome.com. And today's podcast episode is entitled Slapped Around the Face by Jim Rohn. Now, the other day I was just on the WriteCome blog, and as I have a plugin that repurposes old content, because I know most people will probably go to a blog, they'll probably read maybe page 2, page 3, some of them may even go even further than that, but the majority of people will probably arrive on your blog, probably read maybe 1-2 articles, and that is about the height of it, and they'll never go back again. And sometimes you have a lot of great content buried in the background that they'll never ever find unless they find it through some link, like a related post link or something like that. But I was just looking at a post that actually was refreshed and had appeared on the front page of the blog, and it was one I'd written a good while ago called Slapped Around the Face by Jim Rohn. Now, at the time I wasn't too happy with where I was going in my business. I just thought to myself, I didn't feel very positive, and I just thought, well, Barry, you need somebody with a bit of wisdom, somebody with a bit of positivity kind of feeding into you to try and motivate yourself, or maybe just point you in the right direction. And you'll find no better than the great Jim Rohn to do that. So at the time I'd bought an audiobook of his. Now, don't ask me what the name of it was, but if you do get a chance to get your hands on any content by Jim Rohn, do listen to it or read it, because Jim has a wonderful way of making complicated things seem simple, and a great way of inspiring you. But anyway, I was just listening to his audiobook, and he brought up a point that at the time kind of slapped me around the face, or kind of woke me up from where I was. Now, I can't remember exactly how he explained it, because it's been a long time since I wrote the blog post, but the kind of gist of it was that Jim Rohn kind of said in the seminar he was doing that whatever you're doing right now, if you keep doing what you're doing, whatever actions you're doing today or whatever inactions you're doing today, if you do the same thing tomorrow, and if you do the same thing the day after, and if you do it the same thing day after, or the week after, or the month after, or 6 months from now, or a year from now, do you think you're going to be in a different place than you are right now? Now, that was a kind of wake-up call for me, because as I said, at the time I wasn't really happy with where the WriteCome site was going. I wasn't really happy with where my motivation was going and my head was going. And the more I thought about that, the more I said to myself, Barry, if you keep doing what you're doing right now, do it tomorrow, do it next week, do it next month, do I really expect that everything is going to work out? Or do I really expect that I'm going to be in a different place than I am right now? And the more I thought about it, if I was doing the same actions that weren't working for me right now, did I really expect those actions were going to work in a week from now, or in 6 months from now, or in a year from now? And chances are good they probably weren't. Chances are good I would probably have maybe a year of actions or inactions done, but I'd still be back at the same place. And at the time it was a kind of a wake-up call for me, just to kind of say, well, Barry, if it's not working with what you're doing right now, do you really think that there's going to be some moment where, you're going to do the same actions someday, and for whatever some reason, a Disney moment or your fairy godmother is going to turn up, but suddenly that action is going to prove that it's the right one to take, or suddenly your business is going to explode, or suddenly people are going to read your blog, or suddenly people are going to open your emails, or whatever it is I was looking to do at the time. And the more I thought about it, if I carried on the way I was carrying on, I was never going to change. I was going to be in the exact same spot. It's almost like that saying, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting the results to change. And maybe that's something you should think about today. Whatever actions you're doing right now, or whatever actions you're not taking, if you just stop and think for a moment, if I do what I'm doing right now every day this week, will I have the result I want at the end of the week? Or will I even be a step closer to that result? Or again, if we just maybe stretch it out a little bit longer, if we give you a fortnight, if we give you a month doing what you're doing right now, do you really think you're going to be in a different place? Or if we expanded it even further, 6 months from now, a year from now, do you really think that things are going to change if you keep doing the same thing every single day? And the more you probably think about it, again, it might be a little bit depressing to think about, if you keep doing what you're doing or not doing what you're doing, that, things aren't going to change. You're going to be in the exact same place. And while that probably does sound a little bit depressing, there's actually, there's a positive point in that right now you have probably saved yourself a month, maybe 6 months, a year of wasted time. Because you've actually thought about it and you've actually, projected yourself forward through that space of time just to see would things have changed. So if you can't see things changing in a year from now, maybe you've just saved yourself, a year of wasted effort. Or maybe you've just saved yourself maybe a year of going down a path that's not going to go anywhere. Or you're going to end up in a cul-de-sac or whatever. So keep that in mind today. At the time when I did listen to the audiobook, it was kind of as I said, it was a kind of slap around the face for me. It was a kind of almost somebody was grabbing me by the scruff of the collar, shaking me as if to say, Barry, will you wake up from this kind of, this fantasy that you're in, that you think that if you keep doing what you're doing right now, that things are going to change. And, when I thought about it, depressing as it was, I realised that he was right. I wasn't going to change. I wasn't going to end up in a different place than where I was right now. If you think about it, if you go on a journey and you're walking in the wrong direction, if you are heading east but your destination is in the west, you can keep walking as much as you want in the easterly direction, but you're never going to get to that destination if it's in the opposite direction. So maybe it's time to maybe just think about what you're doing right now and just ask yourself, if I keep doing what I'm doing right now, if I keep taking the actions that I'm doing, if I'm not taking the actions that I need to do, or maybe if I'm not getting out of my comfort zone, if I'm not doing things that I've never ever done before, for example, maybe creating podcasts or maybe getting in front of a video, a camera and recording a couple of videos for TikTok or YouTube, or creating a digital course or building an email list, something that you've never ever done before. If you don't ever do that, do you really think things are going to change? Maybe it's time to think on that for a moment. So as always, if you'd like to find out more about Rightcome, and if you'd like to find, yes, in the last podcast I did say there would be some changes on the homepage, and yes, we do have another great free product on the homepage. Now, in today's product I am going to show you how you can create your easiest digital product ever. So if you are someone who's played around with, buying other people's PLR products and trying to sell them off, or thinking to yourself, how the hell can I create a digital product? I haven't got any experience, I haven't got any knowledge, I don't know how to start. Head on over to Rightcome and watch the free video series I have on the site. Just put your email address into the opt-in box and I will send you directly on to the video series. But I can guarantee you, after you've watched the video series, you are going to be almost like that moment when Jim Rohn slapped me around the face. You are going to be slapping yourself across the face thinking, why the hell didn't I think of this before? Because this is the easiest digital product I can ever create. So if you want to watch that video series, again, it's totally free. Head on over to Rightcome, that's WRITECOME.com. Put your email address into the opt-in box and I will send you directly onto it. So as always, have a lovely day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us today. If you'd like more from the Rightcome.com podcast, be sure to subscribe now for more tips, tricks, and ideas you can use to make more money from your words. See you in the next episode.